Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. It seems like some people in the West want a war with Russia. Well, Emil, that's not a genius statement, as you might say, for good reasons. Because it's not a genius statement, it's the obvious, and it's a sad, dangerous obvious. So they keep pushing, Russia will attack us. In 5 years, we have to be ready when Russia attacks us. Well, that worked for some strata of the population, some segment, which is unfortunately the majority. They are all scared about it. So this kind of scare tactic worked coming from the media operatives, not for people like us. You know what I mean? So what happened? They asked for Oreshnik. You know Oreshnik? Is that hypersonic intercontinental ballistic missile that the Russians dropped in Ukraine to show them we can fuck you up if we want and you can't do anything about it. So yesterday I saw this article and I just ignored it. I said, this is crazy. Why do you talk about it? Why do you need to talk about this? Kremlin's Wunderwaffe, this comes from the Ukrainians, Oreshnik missile fades from Putin's rhetoric. Ukrainian political analyst. So this is the Oreshnik. So I was wondering, why in the hell you want to talk about it? Do you miss it? It's like a guy who said, hey, interesting, I haven't been raped lately. Do you want it? What do you even talk about it? I thought that should be a traumatic event. An Oreshnik dropped on your head. But no, they're not talking about it anymore. Do you want them to talk about it? So that's the first topic. The other one, we have the Russians today, actually yesterday, 19 hours ago, talking about Oreshnik hitting targets in Europe. So that guy says in Ukraine, they're not talking about Oreshnik. The Russians talk about Oreshnik on Sputnik, telling us what targets Oreshnik and how quickly they can hit, let's say, Brussels or London. All right, I'm going to show you a map how far and how quickly that can get. Then we find out that the Brits are getting ready for war against Russia, but not an offensive war, because the opossums are never offensive. They just show aggressivity, but they are harmless. This is Great Britain for me, is the opossum. So I'm going to show you, United Kingdom reportedly starts to secretly, it's so secret that you already know, prepare for Russia's attack and updates its defense plan. This is, on the scare tactic that worked, a beefing up of, or giving, the cat is around here, it's going to encircle me, beefing up and giving the military industrial complex. I want to come behind me. He usually come here and sits behind me. All right. Of their military industrial complex. I think it's just a reason. Oh, they are attacking us. Secretly you do it. It's not no secret. You have your sponsors. So I have two articles after this, after the Brits getting ready for defending their island. We got Dutch Prime Minister who says that Russian threat spilling into Europe's heart. Who spilled it? You did, and your media operatives. You scare these guys, but then you'd say, where is the Oreshnik? Shh, why do you talk about it? And we have the Dutch Prime Minister, and we have Putin saying that the West tried to provoke him to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. I wonder why. So they talk about Oreshnik, all these things could be linked. They say, where is the Oreshnik? These guys show up with the Oreshnik. Oy vey, what's going on here? And Putin says, these guys tried to provoke me. Why? What would be the outcome of a, let's say, nuclear weapon used in Ukraine? I will tell you what I think. I don't want to put my hand on his tail. Right, meow meow? There you go. Okay, now that we're friends. And you lick your butt with that. Let's start with the first one. New Voice of Ukraine. Kremlin's Wunderwaffe, Oreshnik missile, fades from Putin's rhetoric. Also, you want it. Okay. Russian dictator. This guy is a dictator, but he was elected through a fraudulent election. But Zelensky is not a dictator. He's a president. Are you going to show us the butt? Show me the butt. Okay. Has not mentioned the Oreshnik intercontinental missile in recent months. Political anal, right there, anal list. Vladimir Donyshenko said in an interview with Radio New Voice of Ukraine on May 5. This is the guy. This is the guy. Trust this guy. Look at his face. I was really surprised, he says, that he, Putin, hasn't said a word about the Oreshnik for so many months. So that means what? That's not true. Oreshnik is bad. This was supposed to be his Wunderwaffe. We remember how he boasted about 10 Mach speed, how he told some US journalist about it, then repeated the same to Central Asia presidents at the Russian Central Asia summit. You could see how much he enjoyed it, but after that, radio silence. So let's say this was published by this imbecile on May 5 at 7:08 a.m. in the morning hours. Now we have Russia Today. Oreshnik missile, how far it can reach. 19 hours ago. 19 hours ago would get me to sometimes 2 p.m. yesterday. So about 2 p.m. yesterday, let's say Eastern Time, United States of America, this was published. And this baboon right here published it yesterday at 7, whenever I got it. So let's go further. Let's see how far this Oreshnik can hit. The hypersonic medium-range ballistic missile dubbed Oreshnik instills fears in Russia's opponents. No, they are asking for it. You see over there? For its supreme capabilities. They know that there is virtually no defense against this brand new weaponry. All right, he's gone, so we can occupy the seat. Oreshnik missile could reach NATO's headquarters in Brussels in less than 20 minutes. Where is that at? Where's Brussels? If fired from Russia's polygon of Kapustin Yar. I will show you where Kapustin Yar is on the map. Let's start with the map. Where are you? Which one should we start? This one right here. So Kapustin Yar is right here in Volgograd. But why don't I see it? Let me pull it out from... I had it on, but I don't have it here yet. I must have got it off. It's okay. We're going to go back to it. So there it is, Kapustin Yar. This is Volga, this is Volgograd, which is Stalingrad. So this is Stalingrad, and this is right here the polygon where they launched it, probably. So how does it look? Right here, Kapustin Yar, the polygon is located in this area here, and not only, okay, in this area. I can go lower, and I can show you the polygon, the tanks, and whatever they have here. All right. So they will launch it from here somehow, these guys claim, and probably on this side too, that this is located. Take this elbow of Volga, from Volgograd right here, okay? And we're going to show you the other map, which is right here. You see this Volgograd is right there. This is Volgograd, so this is Kapustin Yar. So they talk about flying from here to Brussels, which is right here. So if you see, Brussels is very close to London or Paris, all right, and it passes over Berlin and over Warsaw. So you see, it's very close right here, in close range from exactly here, Volgograd. From here, Big Bok Buk. And let's see what else these guys are saying. It takes 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes, covering up to 3 kilometers per second and generating almost a sun surface heat at the time of explosion. Oreshnik also be armed with a nuclear warhead, bringing certain doom for anyone who threatens Russia and its people. Got it? And they show you this little map here. I know they have it because I don't read this shit. All right, so it starts from here, where I told you, shooting range, pika paka paka boof, Poland, that's NATO, okay, tick 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 tick, boom, Germany, Ramstein, tick 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 tick, Brussels. I wouldn't go to that. I would go to London. I would go to Nyam. I would go to Nyam Nyam Nyam, and I would go definitely Nyam Nyam Nyam. All right, these are the ones that are over there. So he says here, penetrates air missile defense. His targets are a depth of 3 to 4 reinforced levels. With nuclear capabilities, the Oreshnik can deliver a total payload of 900 kilograms, 45 times, kilotons, for 45 times the Hiroshima bomb dropped by the American military on a civilian target, a city, Hiroshima. And then they said, you don't surrender, drop it on Nagasaki. Boom. You don't surrender, next one is Yokohama. Oh, we surrender. Okay. That's how they went. That's how. And they say, well, there was, I remember, I still have that. I have to make a video on that one. I have a recording from BBC right after. I have to find it on a CD, MP3, 1000 years old. When the Americans dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, how BBC reported that. And they said the American dropped an atomic bomb over some military installations in Hiroshima. Have you seen the military installations in Hiroshima? All right. So that's how BBC. So when I heard that one, I was like, oh, so they have been lying then too? Exactly. All right. So Oreshnik is right there. We got that. We got that. Next, let's see how the Brits are getting ready for war by feeding their fat cats in the military-industrial complex. Ukrainska Pravda, 6th of May. UK reportedly starts to secretly prepare for Russia's attack, not for UK's attack, for Russia's attack, because UK always fights with other people's lives and nations, not with theirs, and always on an alliance. The only alliance that they didn't fight in, if I remember correctly, in the past 120 years or so, was, I'm talking about the First World War, something like that, was in against Argentina, Falkland Islands. Remember? That was the only time when the Brits really fought one-on-one with Argentina. Argentina is what, 20 million people or something? Nevertheless, that was an achievement, I gotta tell you, to fight so far away from but Argentina was not serious. It was not a serious war. I mean, I couldn't believe. I started that war. I couldn't believe what the Argentinians did. I would say nothing. Don't tell me they couldn't. They said what? 2 airplanes over there that struck one of the Brits' warship. That's it. 2 airplanes, 3 airplanes, 5 airplanes. How many do you have? You have what? Hang gliders or something? Jesus Christ. In what? 78 or 79? So here you have them. The Telegraph has learned that the United Kingdom is secretly preparing for a direct military attack by Russia. Okay, I want to see that happening. How are you going to defend? An updated secret homeland defense plan will determine the strategy for the first days after a strike on the UK territory by a hostile foreign state. They talk about the first day. They think about surviving it. Now that's delusional. Now, I have no problem with the British people, with the English, the Welsh, the Irish, the Scots. I have no problem. I have no beef with them. Okay, with the real guys. With the other ones, either. The problem is this: don't be delusional. You live on a freaking island. If these guys, even if the Russians don't hit directly on you, and they hit next to your little thing, and they create a tsunami, you don't have to hit it in the air, even though I don't think you can't hit it. All right? You will be washed away. You get a bath, a shower. I don't want that to happen, but go and take care of your freaking guys that occupy your country, your leaders. All right. Sputnik, UK to update defense plan to prepare for possible attack on country. Is this a British one or is this American? Because I don't think these guys have anything floating anymore. The UK government is working to upgrade its 20-year-old defense plan to prepare for an attack by another state. By Russia, we're told. The Russians say by another state, including Russia, amid concerns that Britain is not ready for war. Well, they think they're going to have a conventional war? I don't think so. Next one. These guys are ready, see? These guys... That tells you, this statement from this imbecile should tell you that the propaganda promoted by the guys to scare you in Europe and in the United States of America a little bit less works. People are scared. Why? Because people like this screw up right here. Dutch Prime Minister, Russian threat spilling into Europe's heart. No. Who spills it? There's some people promoting that. Why? So you can do your hanky-panky. That's a boogeyman, and then you infringe on their freedoms of speech, for instance, the mass media, because, hey, it's a boogeyman over there. And once you say something that we disagree, we're going to call you a Putin this, a Putin that, Russian that, an enemy. And we can do whatever we want. All right? Enemy combatant. The threat posed by Russia extends beyond Ukraine, and it's evolving into hybrid forms. Dutch Prime Minister Dick, yeah, he is like a dick, Schoof, I would say Schoof, wrote on X on May 5 after officially launching the national festivities to mark the liberation of the Netherlands with the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk. Donald Tusk is an imbecile. I will tell you why. I will break the news if you didn't know. Tusk, the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, Mr. Vyacheslav, whatever his name is, I know his name. He's MI6, just so you know. I think. And then even Duda, the president, is an imbecile. He made some statements yesterday, and I will feature him in a video today. He made some statements like, I'm like, you are an idiot, or you pretend, or what's going on over here? Anyway, Sikorski. Mr. Sikorski, Vyacheslav. Sikorski is the foreign minister of Poland, and he's married with Anne Applebaum, I think is her name. And they both work for the mass media. Oy vey. All right, let's move on, man. It's fucking unbelievable. Let's see how... so everybody's scared here, right here. The World War II war that ended 80 years ago reminds us that freedom cannot be taken for granted. You are already occupied by the Americans. Shut your pie hole. In fact, right now on the eastern edge of Europe, we can see that Ukraine is heavily embroiled in a fight for its continued existence. Who started it? Wasn't NATO's expansion? The Russians told you, don't come over, Red Rover, we're gonna give you a punch. You won't, because we're strong. Oh wait, it's the Russians attacking. As a nation and for its own peace and security. I don't think that's the right, that's reality. I mean, it's this much, or this is an interpretation of reality. That's a narrative, a spin. But hey, get scared. That's the whole point. And let's see how Trump, I was about to say. Putin says West tried to provoke him to use nuclear weapon. Why? Why would you want to do that? Is because so these guys can say, yeah, that's it, we were right, or because these guys right here, they have to build their defenses, pay their armed military industrial complex, or these guys right here who are, where is it? Well, don't worry, it's coming, it's on its way, it seems like you want it. So Putin says that, right? Putin says West tried to provoke him to use nuclear weapon, or West wants to provoke me to use nuclear weapons. Why would that be? And he said it in an interview. I'm going to show you his direct quote, which could be interpreted that way. Here, Russian President Vladimir Putin accused the West of trying to provoke him into using nuclear weapons in Ukraine, in comments in a Russian state television documentary film about his 25 years in power. And I'm quoting, "They wanted to provoke us. They wanted to make us make mistakes," he said in the film Russia, Kremlin, Putin, 25 years. However, there was no need, I'm quoting again, however, there was no need to use nuclear weapons, he said, and I hope that this will not be necessary in the future either. So this is what he said. Now why, if we are to trust, or at least analyze what Putin said, why would the West try to make him make that mistake? I don't think it's for propaganda reasons, like, oh, see, the Russians use nuclear weapons to forget the Americans, that they used 2 nuclear bombs. I don't think that's the point, because they can make Russia look as a boogeyman whenever they already do, without even dropping them. They can make that no problem. They make Iran being the boogeyman. Really? Well, we know who's behind that one. So again, why, if let's say Russia would have used nuclear weapons, I think if Russia would have used nuclear weapons, the only thing that would have been around would be the propaganda and remain in the history that these are the biggest criminal country. Because they did the same thing the Americans did. But hey, we're going to shush that one, we're going to keep this one. That's how you do. I think the war would have ended right there. That's why I'm not promoting that. I'm just trying to think with my little nerve that I have over there. I don't have a brain, I have just a nerve. And that's it. So I think it would have stopped all these imbeciles. They would be like all stop, and they would start threatening, we're going to hit you back. And Putin would say, I'm ready, let's go. And the West would say, no. They're not ready for a nuclear war. They don't want a nuclear war because they know they will die as well. Or if they don't, they will not die. Their servants will die. Therefore, they will die because they can make an omelet or anything, get their water from the refrigerator or something. That's what it is. So they don't want that. Do you think that AI is ready already for these guys' bunkers to do their dirty job that people from other countries do for them? I don't think so. I don't think they already have. They're planning, they're working on it. They will have their bunkers. They will not need human beings too much. They will have the robots, the AI, and they will be okay. Think so. Even the AI, the robots, will make revolutions against these imbeciles. They will be fed up at one point. So, make a mistake? Putin said make a mistake. Why? Because do you think the other guys would have hit Russia? I don't think the other ones would have dared to hit Russia. Why? Because the Russia would have hit them. And I know that's a mutual destruction of this right here with no problem. I think that was the only reason to portray Russia from now on, Hitler and Putin. Forget about, and Stalin next, far down somewhere. Why? Because Stalin was a communist, and communism, we're supposed to think it's good. Why? Because the guys who came with the communism and the guys who pushed communism in Russia and created Soviet Union were non-Russian. So, it's okay. Even though the victims of communism as victims are bigger than the guy with the mustache. Okay? So we're going to have two Europeans. We'll forget about Mao Zedong as well, because Mao Zedong is with the communism. Right? So we have this guy. Forget about Moses, the real Moses, or others as criminals. We're going to get the Europeans. Man, these guys, something wrong with them. Don't you think? But hey, we have some good Europeans who listen to those guys. Those are the good Europeans. You pet them like I pet Meow Meow here. Kick, over his head. Pick. Those are the good Europeans. Those are the allies. An ally like that is a servant. You want to be a servant? I don't like to be a servant. That's why I'm trying to be less of a servant. I am to a certain extent, and you are a servant to the state, to the guys in charge of us. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.